Let's go on an end of May garden tour. Welcome to Joy in the Garden. So let's start here in the entrance to the back garden. So this red bud arches over a nice shady spot over here. I have quite a few different hostas. I definitely repeat Autumn Frost and Curly Fries hosta. I've added some wee Diamond Lake, some guacamole and stained glass as well. And here you can see the patch of creeping flax that is done blooming, but looks like a really nice green mat there. Some great Brunnera there. The clematis on this arbor is just, there's one bloom, another bloom, but mostly buds here. It'll be blooming the next tour. And then we have our Curly Fries and Autumn Frost hostas. And I've recently added this ajuga in between the steps. This is Burgundy Glow, hoping that fills in so I have to put less mulch down. There's an allium there. I have quite a few alliums, especially the Millennium Allium, because it's such a great structure plant. Now these are Bobo hydrangeas in here. So at this point, you know, they don't start blooming till really maybe early July. So the Autumn Frost hostas really kind of provide a nice little punch there. And here we have the wonderful William Buffin Rose, hardy to zone 3, just a workhorse back there, and another clematis there. And there we can see the Globe Master alliums over the other side of the wall. And from this angle, just some nice stained glass hosta with a weigela there. As we go over here, just some really pretty, I've had this King Copper Heucherella for a while, but last year I added this Georgia Peach, which is the little redder version there. Those two just look fabulous together. I'm trying to complement them with what's in the container as well. So, and a few cloches here, trying to protect some gomphrena from the rabbits. And then we have the beautiful, beautiful Lady's Mantle. Just so precious. This is the Gold Strike variety here. It won't be long before the wee white hydrangeas there on the left begin blooming white. That'll be beautiful. And then as we kind of pull back here, you can see more repetition of the Curly Fries hostas, and definitely Helen von Stein lamb's ear. I have quite a bit of that. That will get quite bigger than that. Loves drought, doesn't need water. And across the way is a new garden bed I've been working on the last year and a half or so. So here is the new garden bed from a little bit of a different angle. To the right here is the Royal Purple Smoke Bush. Absolutely gorgeous. It's going to start blooming pretty soon. So this new garden bed over here, it's clear what's shining in this new bed. The Nepeta, that is Walker's Low. In the front there, the purple flowers, that's 3 Walker's Low that were planted last year. So really pretty, with a repeat of the Walker's Low across the way in the back. And the lemon meringue baptisia are beginning to fade. Quite an absolutely beautiful show. It was about 4 weeks of a show this spring. It was fabulous. And then the alliums there are ambassador. So hoping those will continue to multiply over the years. Now in this garden bed, I have probably about, 80% of what I started from seed indoors is actually in this bed somewhere. I have divided tons of perennials and added them to this bed last fall. So this is going to be a fun bed just to kind of watch pop this season. There we have some penstemon. Looks like that's going to bloom pretty soon as well. And the only thing that loves this Nepeta more than me are the bees. and buzzing around it every day, all day long. And then on the other side of this royal purple smoke bush, we have a little corner that I used to call the clay corner because this was just really tough ground. But slowly over the years, each fall, each spring, I added compost, and it is a nice, rich bed now. These are caramel corabels, the toughest corabel there is. I think that's a plum pudding corabel there. Some curly fries, some hydrangeas that'll bloom a little later, and then we have Nellie Moser. This is the first year this Nellie Moser clematis is blooming. So looking quite pretty back there. This area gets maybe 3 hours of sun. Nellie Moser can handle shade. So the front yard garden here gets full sun all day long. So things have to be really tough to be in here. I think what's kind of looking great right now are the 3 Glow Girl spireas. 1, 2, 3. Repeated. There's some more lamb's ear. But what is actually really shining in this bed right now, the peonies and the alliums. Beautiful. This is the Bowl of Beauty peony. I just absolutely love it. This is the second time it's blooming. That's not normal, but we had some warm weather about a month ago, and then it got cold, and the poor little peony was confused. I cut the old blooms off, and the rest of its buds bloomed about 3 weeks later. Just gorgeous. This is the Ambassador allium. I started with 6 of those, I think about 4 years ago. They're looking just magical. There's nothing more magical than the spring alliums. Now I must take you to my favorite guy. This is Bartzella. So an Ital peony is basically a hybrid between a herbaceous peony, which the Bowl of Beauty is, and a tree peony. And it is a very strong, sturdy. Its stems are very strong. You can see it's very dense, and if you compare it to a herbaceous peony. And this true yellow is just absolutely gorgeous. So if you don't have an Ital peony, keep your eye open for them, because they are really something very, very beautiful and unique in your landscape. So I went with Mini Vista plum veined, some dahlia, a lot of other beautiful things in the containers. I'll do a whole separate video on the containers. This spot right here is a really tough spot. If you have a spot where you have a driveway and then you have steps, that soil in between there, first of all, it doesn't get a lot of rain, but also plants just really struggle. So a couple years ago, I added the lamb's ear, Helen von Stein, and then that is a Summer Beauty allium. I don't have to water them at all. And I love how the lamb's ear, kind of weeps over the sidewalk. Just really pretty. And across the driveway is another garden area. This right here, the arborvitaes and this beautiful Japanese lilac tree, they are the show for this garden bed here. That said, they also have a lot of roots. They need a lot of water. So every plant in this garden bed is always fighting for root space and water. So I've learned that I need very drought tolerant plants here. I have quite a few allium, the Millennium version. I have Russian sage, the denim and lace. I have added quite a bit of Nepeta here. And I have to tell you, this is what daffodil foliage has to look like. I had about 60 daffodils in this bed here. And if you want the beautiful daffodil show, You gotta be willing to have the ugly leaves and leave them there until they turn brown. So they are not ready to be pulled out yet. So if you want beauty, you gotta suffer in between. So I try to hide, the daffodil leaves behind these alliums, but clearly there it is. Here we also have a Glow Girl Spirea, just to continue the repetition from the other side here. And one of the things that's really beautiful in this bed and has really thrived is hardy geranium. This is the Max Fry variety, and I just divided it last fall, but it's beautiful. I think it's the best variety of hardy geranium out there. This stays this nice round shape, and then in the fall, it even gets a tint of red. And close by here, we have just a small little garden bed here. There's some rose marble salvia and the beautiful golden spirit smoke bush with some Globemaster alliums nearby. And if we look down this slope here, this is where we'll run into the new garden area and the royal purple smoke bush. That's all for today. We'll see you in the next video where I'm going to talk about the top 3 garden challenges I'm currently dealing with and how I'm working to overcome them. Have a fabulous day.